I'd like you to welcome Brett Poole from Finecast and Kemp from Uber Eats to deliver a presentation on addressable advertising. So let's give them a round of applause.
Hello everyone, my name is Brett Poole. I'm the Managing Director for Finecast. How do you plan a new channel like Addressable TV? I mean, this is one of the big questions that clients asked us when we started the business back in 2018. When we launched, the Australian market had a few key characteristics that we noticed that was sort of made it sort of perfect timing for us. One was the decline in measured TV, especially across key demos where TV buyers were finding it quite difficult. New entrants in TV, which caused the fragmentation that I think everyone sees now. Huge growth in OTT viewing, and at last the measurement currencies that many of us have relied on for decades have been breaking down. So this meant Finecast needed to innovate across the entire spectrum to actually get a credible product in market in addressable TV. And that included the planning phase, the activation phase, the creative phase, and of course, measurement and evaluation. Fast forward to now, I'm excited to tell you today that it's been a huge year last year for addressable TV, and for us, we've basically activated now 250 addressable TV campaigns throughout 2019. This is across 60 of Australia's biggest brands that have taken the leap forward from linear television buying, and I've got to say a lot of people have pulled digital back across into television during this process as well, which has been hugely exciting for everybody involved in television. And whilst we work across a whole bunch of categories, across a whole range of different client categories, we want to focus on one particular category today, a brand that you will absolutely know and has found a place for addressable TV in their marketing plan. So I'm going to invite Kemp, Senior Marketing Manager of Uber Eats, to the stage.
So I know I think the last official presentation for the day, so post-lunch, pre-drinks, and I can say I've got no statistics, I've got only a few slides, and I will only talk very briefly. So, let's cast your minds back. Well before Kim and Sharon graced your screens at the end of last year, we have been running the highly successful Tonight I'll Be Eating campaign for the last 2 years in market. This campaign for us is all about driving mass reach and saliency through a multimedia channel approach with heavy weighted TV. I feel like I'm in a safe audience to say that at Uber Eats, we love TV. We spend lots of money on TV. Clearly, maybe people don't want us to spend as much, but anyway, we'll keep spending. So this time last year, February 2019, we gave our brand team a challenge. We said we wanted to be more innovative. We are a tech brand, so continually we have to push ourselves. We want to use the same creative. So this was straight after the Australian Open last year, where we launched our first Australian Open sponsorship with the highly successful Nadal creative. We were not going to spend more money doing a new creative campaign. We just wanted to use the same creative, do new media, but do it in a hyper local way. So that was our challenge. So what we did, we sat down firstly with our media agency, who seemed to be right in front of me, MediaCom, and we planned very differently. So we took a suburb-first approach. So we really looked at two key areas in Sydney. So for most of the Sydney-siders in the room, we looked at the northern beaches and also the inner southwest. And we did a bottoms-up approach. We hand-selected each suburb. And we then went into depth about what assets do we have available, what do we think is going to be relevant for our target consumer, and started to build our plan that way. We then actually realised that we were going to buy a whole bunch of stuff that we don't normally buy. So if you think about what I said earlier, we're about driving mass reach and saliency. We don't normally dabble in local print or local out of home or even some cinema buys. But in particular, we then decided at this moment that we would try something new. We would try addressable TV. So what this unlocked for us was two things. Number one, the ability to really geofence these two areas so we could create a test and control environment. We used the two areas that we'd picked, regions in Sydney, plus two others, and to be able to obviously do research and really quantify what we were going to achieve out of this. We also got the opportunity to localise our creative. So as I said, we were going to continue to use the highly successful Tonight I'll Be Eating campaign, but this wasn't our time to reinvent the wheel. We just wanted to tweak it super slightly to make it hyper-local for those consumers in those suburbs. And I should point out, this was at a suburb level, so we went down to every single suburb. For any of you who know like the Northern Beaches, we were looking at Manly versus Palm Beach, etc. What this meant is what we also discovered through the process is that a lot of brands actually don't take up this feature of hyper-localization. For us, if we were going to do this, if we were going to trust in our partners at Finecast and use Addressable TV, we really wanted to make sure that we unlocked this feature. I just was checking we're not going to the video. And so what this meant from a media mix perspective is Addressable TV became the #1 channel in our mix. So now we're just going to show very quickly an example of our creative. So we'll play one of our, hopefully you've seen one of our Tonight I'll Be Eating ads, and just how we slightly tweak the creative at a super hyper-local level.
Tonight, I'll be eating a double cheeseburger with bacon and extra pickles.
Tonight, I'll be eating a banana blossom salad with Vietnamese rice paper rolls.
Point blank.
Yes! Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Point violation, Hewitt.
This is rigged. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Thanks, mate. This game's done.
Penalty point, Hewitt.
That's fair, that is fair. That's another one, isn't it? Take two off. Tonight, I'll be eating a Wagyu beef burger with a lot and a side of curly fries.
Focus, Hank. Focus.
Sorry, coach. Thanks, mate. Do you really think I'm the best player you've ever seen?
Awesome. So as you can see, Finecast or Addressable TV actually became the #1 touch point in that channel mix. And the other thing that we just want to point out is by actually hyper-localizing the creative, it meant we could harmonise our plan and make sure there was consistency across all the channels. As you could see in the video, all the out-of-home came to life matching TV. So what did this actually achieve? Now, I'm not going to stand up here and tell you any percentages or anything I can tell you from a confidential perspective, but what I can release is that it did work for us. So one thing that we saw is consumers were much more engaged at a local level, and we could actually measure by touch point through the research we conducted. And we also saw people converting at the point of purchase, which at the end of the day, for the brands that are in the room, this is why we exist. So the second part of it for us that was really important is the fact that we got a true test control. At Uber, we need to make sure, and probably every brand in this room, we need to make sure that we're measuring every single dollar. So we were able to prove this with this channel mix. So my final slide, and I think probably maybe your final slide for the day, potentially, I won't promise that, is what's next. For us as a brand, we really need to build our muscle in this area. We want to continue to lean into Addressable TV. I think our challenge for a lot of the people in this room is, for our broadcasters, is how do we invest in this technology? Because we need to make it more stable. We need to make it more consistent. It's not quite up to the bar that we would like it to be. So I guess like that's our pitch for you, is how do we make it brilliant for brands and also brilliant for the consumer? Thank you.